So welcome guys. Today our concept is MongoDB and Python drivers, which we are going to use it in the MongoDB to connect. And what is the reasons to use the NoSQL database? MongoDB is one of the type of NoSQL database. What is the reason? There are three reasons. Storing the large volumes of the data without structure. That is one reason. And second reason is using the cloud computing and storage. Okay, if you want to store the large data into the cloud services, we can use this a lot. So main important thing is no structure. When you are using the MongoDB, there is no structure here, and it doesn't mean like we are not using any tables or something like that. So we are not going to use such type of data here. It's completely different. And most important point here, rapid development. If you are developing using the modern agile methodologies, a relational database will slow you down because you have to follow the lot of relationship between the tables and a lot of things is there. So a NoSQL database does not require the level of preparation typically needed for the relational databases. Okay. The first thing is, what is MongoDB? So MongoDB is it is basically a cross-platform document-oriented NoSQL database in single sentence, okay, which is written in C++, okay. It is an open source document database that provides very high performance and automatic scaling. And simple words, we can say that MongoDB is a document-oriented database, okay. And we'll see the next slide. Who behind this software, which company is actually developed this software, if you can ask me. So was developed by a New York based organization named called Tengen. MongoDB is available under the general public license for free, and it is also available under the commercial license from the manufacturer. And one more important thing is the MongoDB. Right now, the company name is the MongoDB. Previously, it was the Tengen. Now the name is got changed. The first ready production of the MongoDB was released in March 2010. Okay, but in 2019, the company shifted to a open source. Initially, it is developed as a software. Then later they moved to this one is the open source development model. First ready production has been considered from the version 1.4. So you can think about this. We are in the 2021, and 10 years back only this software came. This MongoDB came into the software basically. Okay, so first production went live on the on date March 2010. Okay, the purpose of building this MongoDB is very simple. What was the need of MongoDB? Why we are building? Its answer is very simple. All the modern applications require the big data, fast features development, and flexible deployment. And there is older databases systems are not complete enough, and MongoDB was needed at that time when we are talking about the big data era, right? So main purpose of this MongoDB building, there are so many features are there. So let's talk about the features. One of the feature is load balancing. And as I said, like we can use this MongoDB in the cluster environments. There is a multiple servers. We can deploy this MongoDB on the multiple servers. Just looking at one, we can use it on one server. We can use it multiple servers. And one more important thing is it supports the master slave replication. And the next feature is scaling from the single server deployment to the large complex multi-site architecture. We can use this MongoDB for the small applications and also for the large big data applications as well, right? And also one of the great feature is it supports ad hoc queries. And also we can use this one is for the schema-less database. It is not having any schema like tables relationship. There is no such concept here. Okay. And if you ask me what is the ad hoc queries means, so basically in MongoDB you can search by field, and you can use the query, and it is also supports the regular expressions. The ad hoc queries means it is not just you can use only normal queries. Generally, we know that select star from the table name. Here we can search by field, by range query, and also it supports the regular expressions. We can write regular expressions to get the data from the database. And schema-less, there is no tables here. Easy to maintain in the case of failures, because I will tell you what is happening. So why this statement is easy to maintain in the case of failures, in the sense we are maintaining this data as a duplicate. As I told you, you have the one big cluster. In the cluster, there are multiple servers. We are going to store information into the each server. It provides high performance and also stores the files of any size easily without complicating your task. Okay. And so the main accomplishment of this database is because it is completely written in the C++. Okay. And come to the point here, editions. So this software is available in 3 editions. This is what you should know. Okay. The first one is the community server, which we can download in your local computer. You can work on it. This is for the developers edition, and the people who are the developers, they can use this community server. And also there is enterprise servers. All companies use this one, clients and big companies, because enterprise server is a little different from the community server. All the complete features of the software is available in the enterprise server. And the last one is Atlas. So I can say it is a cloud server. Okay, this Atlas is the MongoDB cloud database. Okay, so community server, which is for the developers, enterprise server is for the it's like a physical database without using the cloud. And the last one is the Atlas. We can say it is a cloud server, community server, enterprise server, and cloud server. Well, today we are going to use the community server. How to download, how to configure in our local, and what are the things and all, we are going to look into it. Okay, so look at that. Last year, 2020, and December 22nd, the latest release patch came. So this is a 4.4.3. So we can, so moving to then where MongoDB used, this is the question, right? We have the MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, SQLite 3, Microsoft SQL Server. There are so many databases are there, but those are all relational databases. But where I can use this MongoDB in my projects are like where exactly this is needed. The first thing is we can use it in the content management and delivery. When you have the lots of data, like huge data, so much of content is there, how to manage that content, how to deliver that content, how to integrate that content with other services, all these things which basically comes through here. And basically MongoDB deals with the big and complex data, and there is no relationships, guys. When I'm talking about MongoDB, no relations here. Okay. And also user data management. And if you take any e-commerce applications, there is so many users are there in the e-commerce, right? If you take Amazon, the user database, its user data itself is a separate database they will maintain. Okay, even if you take Facebook or different websites, the large companies' websites, they will maintain the data separately. They maintain the separate database for the user data. So something is like this user data management. And the last one is the mobile and social infrastructure. So for this one also we can use this MongoDB. These are the four the common things which I mentioned, but we can use it in many places. So MongoDB deals with the huge data, big data, something like that. Okay. And what are the operating system is supported? MongoDB supports almost all operating systems, Windows, Vista, and later, because MongoDB does not support the Windows XP. Of course, nowadays, no, we are not using the Windows XP. OS X, it is nothing but Mac OS. And also we can run this MongoDB in the Linux, and also we can use MongoDB in the Solaris. So these are the four types of, four various operating systems we can use. Only thing you should remember is MongoDB does not support Windows XP. Okay, so moving to the next slide. So this is important here. Look at this Mongo tools. There are so many tools, but very important tools I mentioned here in this slide. So the first one is the MongoDB Compass. So in our previous discussion on PostgreSQL, as I told you that there is a GUI that's called user interface tool name is called the PG admin. For MySQL, so MySQL Workbench is the GUI, something like that. For Oracle, it is SQL Developer, right? For SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, that is the SQL Management Studio, like that. So Mongo tools, basically like MongoDB Compass is one of the tool which we can use for the GUI to see all the documents collections. I will show you in shortly. And MongoDB Shell, if you want to execute the data, to see that data in your system, or like if you want to insert the document, if you want to create a collections, and all these things, we can use the shell also. Shell is nothing but a command line interface. We can use the command line interface, we can use the GUI, and also there is something called MongoDB charts. This is for the visual representations. So if anyone is aiming for the data visualizations, like generally we use the Matplotlib and Seaborn. There is so many Python packages are there, and also we can use the Microsoft Business Intelligence tool, Tableau. There are so many tools are there. Okay. In similar way, if we want to visualize the large volume of the data through MongoDB, we can use this MongoDB charts. Okay, and it is not only these three tools, there are many tools, but I just consider these three are very important as part of the data science and AI. And if you are very familiar with using the GUI, we can go for Compass. And if you are good at the command lines, writing the commands and all, DB shell. And if you are working on something, why visual representation is very important. See, if it is 1 million records, at least I can show on the screen. But what if I have the 30 million records, 45 millions of records? It is difficult to visualize that data. So especially when you're using the MongoDB, we can use these charts. That is a separate tool for this. Okay. So moving to the next one, what is a MongoDB Atlas, right? Let me tell you. So MongoDB Atlas means it is a fully managed cloud database. As I told you at the beginning, there is a three types or three editions are there. Okay. One is the community edition, that is the developers use. The next one is the cloud edition. And one more edition is also there, that's called the enterprise edition. Now I'm talking about the cloud edition here. What is MongoDB Atlas? It is a fully managed cloud database. You can see this Atlas in the AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So all these are the big cloud services. We can get this Atlas, and this Atlas service is available in the Amazon Web. This Atlas service is available in the Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure and Google, because these are the three big companies, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. The service available there. Because why I'm telling, if you are going to host your AI model or any other application in the, generally we host in the AWS, right, cloud. But this is the better way we can use MongoDB directly. Okay, so MongoDB is the open source one. And we can, and this Atlas stores the secure data, because when you say that cloud environment, the first concern comes how far it is secure when I'm going to host my data on the public cloud. Remember guys, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, these are the public clouds. These are not the private clouds. Okay, so you are sharing these resources with others IP addresses, and also how far it is secured with the data. So yes, the secure for the sensitive data, or for example you are storing any tax ID, or like if you are storing anything like Aadhaar number, or you are storing something related to the your passwords, or anything which is sensitive data, which is more secure. And most important thing, this MongoDB Atlas, we can use on the cloud clusters. Not only one cluster, multiple clusters also we can use, because we can use it as a big applications on the cloud. So moving to the next one, what is the MongoDB Ops Manager, right? So what is the MongoDB Ops Manager? Previous slide, I explained about the public cloud. This is the private cloud. Previous one was like Atlas. This is Ops Manager. If we want to use MongoDB services on private cloud, then Ops Manager is the tool. Okay, so this is mainly for the private cloud on-premises management platform. Only like within the company we can use this service, because most of the companies thinks, most of the clients thinks, hey, if I'm going to put my data on the public cloud, what is the security? Still, even though you says n number of things to the client thinks about the security. So even MongoDB come up with the solution for that question, saying that they have the MongoDB Ops Manager. We can use this service on the private cloud, which is on-premises management platform. Okay, and it runs and manage MongoDB seamlessly with the Kubernetes. Okay, we can use this Kubernetes to run this Ops Manager. But this is something the like infrastructure level, if we can talk about this ops manager. Okay, and it has so much of backup management and in time recovery. Yes, this is important, right? And also it supports the multi-cloud clusters within the organizations, within the client products. Generally we use that way. Okay, moving to next one. What is the main differences between the RDBMS? So I'm missing your spelling called RDBMS. So we can say that it is a normal SQL database and NoSQL databases. But in this example, so in this example, I am explaining that what is the differences between the relational databases and especially this MongoDB. So so what is the differences generally? If you go to the relational databases, we have one-to-one relationship. There is and many-to-many relationship, many-to-one relationship. That's where we use the foreign keys and we have the joins. We joins the two tables by using the inner join, outer join, left outer join, and all. But if you look at the MongoDB, we don't have such concepts here. We don't have. So MongoDB is a schema-less database. So basically, we store the documents here. So there are maybe difference between the number of fields, content, and size of the document from the each document, but structure of the single object is clear in the MongoDB. There are no complex joins in MongoDB. MongoDB provides the facility of deep query because it supports the powerful dynamic query on the documents, and it is very easy to scale. Let's see the table here. This table will give you the more information, guys. Okay, again, so table is there in the RDBMS, but this is just a citation which I am giving. That you can refer in your mind. Don't think like, okay, this is exactly the same, but I'm just giving the citation here. The table is there in the normal SQL databases, but if it comes to the MongoDB, it is a collection, right? And RDBMS, there is a row. Table has the rows and columns, but if you look at here, this is a JSON document. There is a collection. Inside the collection, there are the documents. We can write one document, two document, three document, four document, n number of documents we can write. But these documents are in the structure of JSON. Okay. And I also mentioned in the bracket called the BSON. It is called the binary JSON. I will talk about that. What is the binary JSON? And we'll have a look into it. So, okay, example, I will say that in SQL databases, if you want to store the images, video, how we are going to do it, guys? We are going to use the data types names called the glob, blob, and something like this. But in MongoDB, okay, text you can store with the JSON format. What about image? What about video? Okay, that's a question we need to think. So that's where this basin comes into the picture. Not exactly the same, but I will explain you how we can store the multimedia content in the MongoDB. And index is index only, join is embedding and linking, and partition is shut. Okay, so next one, installation. How to install this MongoDB, right? I will show you. So it's mainly I'm going to use this Windows, Mac, Linux, but currently I'm using the Mac. But it is easy to install. No need of following any documentation. You follow only MongoDB documentation. They're given the very clear steps. And more important thing, we can go into discuss about installation part in shortly. But I'm finishing the content first. Okay. So developing with MongoDB. So it's not just only with the Python. There are so many tools and so many drivers are available. You are seeing the C and C++, C Sharp, Node.js, Java, Go language, PHP, Python, Swift, Scala, Rust, Ruby. So all these languages, not only these languages, we can also use many more languages to connect with the MongoDB. So this the diagram are like, you can see the picture you are seeing on my screen. Actually, I copied from the MongoDB official website itself. Okay, so it supports all these databases, all these programming languages, guys. But we have to go and bring the drivers. But let's see this. Next question: How to use MongoDB when you are writing a Python program? How to use this one? Okay, so very simple. There are some libraries are there we are going to use. We are going to experience with the coding. how we can connect with MongoDB using the Python programming. That is also I'm going to tell you in shortly. And what are the Python drivers for the MongoDB, right? If you see that we have a drivers for the MySQL, and also we have drivers for the Postgres, Oracle. Similar way, MongoDB also having the driver is called the PyMongo. Okay, it is recommended by the MongoDB itself, nobody else. Directly MongoDB itself, they are saying that go and use this PyMongo for your application development. Okay, it is a mostly used library, and MongoDB itself is recommending this one. And for example, if you have any asynchronous calls, if you're dealing with your application, Motor is also one type of Python driver, which we can use it for the asynchronous MongoDB server applications. These are the two drivers we can use to develop the Mongo. But in our session, basically we are going to use the PyMongo. Okay. So let's, how to install this PyMongo in your local computer. It's very simple. You can use the pip installation and PyMongo, and easy install PyMongo. So two ways we can install this Mongo. So pip install and easy install. And open the official website of MongoDB. This is a full management database, okay, and this is a mostly used. I also talked about charts. It is a native visualization of the MongoDB data, and also software is available as the community edition, enterprise server, and also there is some developer tools. Compass is for the GUI MongoDB we can download, and also we have the connectors, and also it is. I don't want to talk about the prices. Pricing is only for the cloud services and on-premises services and mobile services. There are something is there. Okay, so this you can have a look into it. But if you are using the cloud one, okay, and if you want to learn this MongoDB, and there is a blog university, and there are so many videos is also available here in this university. It is a free online courses from the MongoDB itself. If you want to be more ideas, see there are so many courses out there. You can go and complete these courses if you are interested. These are all like well designed and very nice tutorials. And from there, even there is a MongoDB YouTube channel. You can go and follow them. There is a good, and you'll get the if you want to achieve the certifications. There is a various program developer certification is there, DBA, that's called database administrator certification is also there. Okay, you can find this information from their website, because I don't want to go in detail. And the main thing here, documentation solutions is okay. The main I'm going to talk about the docs. So we can, cloud is there, server is there, driver, and a lot of things are there. But let's talk about this server. Main thing is the server database, right? So before going to look at this documentation, we need to download this software. So just go and click on this software, and at that there is a community server, and just click on this community server, and you can download here. Okay, so basically you are downloading the MongoDB community server, and it is available with the various versions. And don't go for the RC0, just you can use any one of these, any one of the versions. By default it is pointing to the 4.4.3. This is also fine, you can download the latest one. But you need to select which operating system you use. But there are so many things he has mentioned here. But if you are the Windows operating system, you'll get the file name is the MSI. So better you can go for the MSI file or like GIF file. It is up to you. And click the download, you'll get the download button. Okay. And also there is a different tools all there, but that's up to you. If you want to download it, you can download. But as part of this, you can download this community server, and also you can download something called Compass. This Compass is like GUI. Okay, so it is the graphical user interface. So you can download this one also here. So you can click on download, it will be downloaded. So both the things you can try to download it, and installations and everything is easy. For example, if you want to know the installation steps, you can directly go to their documentation and click on the installation, and you basically installing the MongoDB community edition, and you just click on this and go to the Windows, because most of the people use the Windows operating system. And once you downloaded this, and they are clearly mentioned the steps, guys. No need of asking anyone. Okay. First, you download the .msi installer in your local, and after that, run that installer, and you will get the screen like this. Screenshot also they are given. We can select this one, run service as a network service user. So you need to follow these steps. Don't you just follow these steps, simple. You read this one and follow it. Okay, this is how it works, guys. And also when you are downloading itself, there is an optional to, there is a wizard will come here, MongoDB Compass. It is a user interface. You can also download this one. By default it will download. So if you don't want to download both at a time, then you can also separately download the MongoDB, uh, this one Compass is like UI, so you can download it. So that's something you have to do it with the steps. So once you did the installation, and you can see that to begin, see, this is what start MongoDB community edition as a Windows service. If you want to start this service, I have to use this command. So how to use this one? So first you need to do something. After you're done with the installation, go to this folder. Okay, so go to this folder. They're saying like this. So you can install and configure the MongoDB as a Windows service. During the install, the MongoDB service started upon the successful installation. So you have to go to these folders, and you can click on this MongoDB mongo.exe file. So it will be there in the program files, MongoDB server, and which version you are using, bin folder .exe. Okay, so this is what. So if you can open this one, you can write shell programming, you can write execute this, you can also create databases and all, but don't do it anything. So you can just follow these commands, are very easy to do it. But since I'm using the Mac, I'm going with the Mac here. If you look at this, this is a similar code. You can install it and do it. But to run the servers, Mongo servers here, you can just copy this service. The brew services start MongoDB. I'll go to the terminal. Terminal here is nothing but, so which is like command prompt. We can refer into the, okay, same thing you can refer in Windows system. Okay, so I'm just enter this one, brew services start. Okay, there is already Mongo is running in my system. It's already started, but you can see here it is saying that MongoDB community, because already I started the MongoDB community at 4.4, because I am also using the 4.4. So if we can go back to this one, if you want to stop the server, we can use this brew services stop MongoDB community 4. We can stop the server as well. Okay. If you want to know what are the databases, okay, if you want to know the Mac OS services in my system, so you can run this command. You can see the list of databases are there in my local computer. So I have the Cassandra, I have the MariaDB, I have the MongoDB community, I have the MySQL, and PostgreSQL, which is stopped. The rest are all is started and running at the background, right? So these are the various databases is there in my local. This is nothing but the process name, process list, process which user is there, all the information is there. Okay, so as simple as this, all the commands is there. That's where it is there. And if you want to connect to the shell, okay, we can say that Mongo enter. So when you say Mongo enter, you are connecting to the shell. Shell is nothing but a command prompt interface for the database. If you want to get the data, if you want to see the data and all, we can use it here. For example, as I told you earlier, once you connected this one, if you want to see the databases, you can enter the DBs. So you can see all the list of the databases here, show DBs. Okay. So first time these commands may be little, I mean, you are looking at this, but you can see this, all the databases will be there. But maybe I am using the automobile is my personal one, SEM is also there, e-commerce is also. Rest are all will be by default will be there in your computer. So by default, local will be there. Okay, this local will be there by default, but you can create multiple DBs here. So already I installed the Compass in my local. I'm going to open the Compass, MongoDB Compass. So let it be open. You can see the same DBs even in the graphical user interface. Okay, you can also see the same thing in the graphical user interface. I'm just opening up this. Let it take time, no problem. So, okay, more important thing you should know here, what is the default port number for the Mongo? The default port number for the Mongo is 27017. And if you want to connect this one, just click on the connect. It will connect and will show you all the databases. So whatever you are looking at on the same database list, you can from the ER shell, these are the databases, same databases you can see. So in the sense, if you are not good at the writing the commands, okay, and better you can go for using this databases. So this is the database name, and there is a what storage, what collections are there, what are the indexes and all, right? So something like this, we have it. Now I will go one more step ahead and will show you this. But before going to that, we need to understand the what are the MongoDB data types. Okay, so what are the MongoDB data types? So generally, if you look at the SQL databases, we have the varchar and int, there is a text, something like this is there, right? But if it comes to the MongoDB data type, there is a string, integer, boolean, double, min and max keys, arrays, object, null, symbol, and date. All these things are there. And if you want to look at those information, it's very simple, guys. One of the best documentation is this one only. Okay, this MongoDB documentation only. And let me show you that also to you. Okay, and this is documentation, CRUD operations. Click on this Mongo shell and how to configure this shell in your local. Basically, you don't need to configure this shell in your local. By default, it will be installed in your local computer. And also, like, see, here installation is there. We can basically, shell is different for the community edition, enterprise edition. You always, okay, this MongoDB, you always think into the 3 editions. Okay, I already explained in one slide here in today. So there is a Linux edit. So there is a community edition, enterprise edition is there. Mostly these two things you need to focus. Another one is the cloud edition. Anyway, cloud is not required here. Okay, so look at this install on Windows. They already by default will be installed in when you are installing this one. But if you want to specifically install this one, just go ahead and install in your computer also. So if you select this one, by default will be shell will be there in your local, no need of any separate one. And you can open your command prompt. Then you can automatically you can click on this mongo.exe from this file. This will be created. So this is how this will be there. If anybody is facing any issues, you can ask me and then I will help you. Okay, if you are able, if you are not able to connect with MongoDB and all. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have the Windows. Otherwise, I would have shown you that that also. Yeah. So let's back to this programming here. These are the databases which I can see with the show DBs and all. Right now, I want to create my own database here. So if you want to create, for example, use, I can say that. Okay, so DSAI are like DS team. So I'm creating DS team, data science team. And if you click this, so it is switched to the DS team and automatically switches, but it is not created basically, right? The DS team is not there, but it is automatically creating and checking it. If you want to see that current database which you connected to that, that is a DB. Okay, so what is the current database you connected to the DS team? But I want to see the database list again, enter show DBS. Do you see that name here, guys? Do you see that name here? Automobile, SEM, admin, bank, company, config, e-commerce is there, but you are not seeing it. So I'm going to switch it to the e-commerce. Okay. Okay, I switch it to the e-commerce. Now I'm going to show that show DBs, and you see something. We created the what we created here, DS team. Do you see the DS team? Even though I switch it to that, no. You want to know the what is the current DB? You are pointing to the e-commerce, but where is my DB? Anybody guess? I created the DB name called, what is that? What is the name of the DB? DS team, data science team. But it is not showing immediately because there is no data. At least if you create one document, then we can see this. This can show it to you. since there is no single document in your MongoDB newly created database name called DS team, that is the reason it is not showing it. So you have to create some data here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, right? Let me connect to the name called DS team. So I'm just connecting to this. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to insert one document, insert at least one document. Okay. So I'm going to use the name called db dot, and since I'm already inside this DS team, so I'm using the db dot, and command name is called insert dot. Okay, we can use insert, or like you can specify the name of the document name. What is the document name? I can say that skill. Okay, skill is the document name, and insert. So in insert, and I will take this is the function. So inside that, okay, we are going to enter the some information. So document is in the form of the document is actually there in the JSON format. Okay, JSON means keys and values. So for example, we can say name is name and colon, and we can mention some name. Okay, for example, you can, okay, so here it is the AI. So I'm just closing this one, double quotes, curl braces, close, and close this one also. This is nothing but a JSON object, JSON document you are creating it here. I'm just going to enter. It is saying that inserted the one. Okay. Now you can go and look at this show DBs, and you will see something is DS team now. Previously, there is no DS team. Even you can go back to the MongoDB Compass, and you can refresh this button, and also you can see something called DS team, which is created here. There is no commit, there is no rollback here. It is not like SQL, and skill is there here. If you can go and click the skill, and you see something called underscore ID. So for every document, there is ID will be created. This is how many digits, guys? 16 digits. Now there is an assignment to you. Okay, you have to understand what is the underscore ID in the Mongo database documentations. So on what basis it is created? Is there any formula for this? And you just study it, and I will anyway update you. If you want to change this information also from front end, we can change. So we can say that this is the AI program. So I'm changing it this AI programming, click on update button, and I will go back, sorry, I'll go back to this, and I want to see this collection. See, if I go and use the DB, I'm connected to the DS team. So whatever the document which I created, I want to see. So how to see that document, guys? Any idea? Okay. Anyone to how to query the documents? So we need to use the name called db dot, and we can use the name called, so whatever the name you use, the basically we can say that the name here is a skill, and dot find. Okay, find is the function we are going to get it. If I go and enter, it is giving the information to me what document you inserted there. And one more important point you should remember here, the skill is nothing but a collection. Okay, so let me tell you story here. So let me go back to the this user interface. See, DS team is the database. Remember this terminology. DS team is the database. Inside the database, I have the skill. The skill is nothing but a collection. In the collection, I have a document. This document is in the form of the JSON document. Okay, is it clear? So what I am saying here, I want to go and create a new one. So I'll go to the VS Code. Okay, say that. Okay, so I will tell you something here. What I am telling that, which is very important. So you have the one server. Okay, there is a server. Inside the server, you can create multiple databases. You can say DB1 and DB2. Okay, like that we can create n number of databases. Again in DB, and there is so many collections will be there. So collection 1 and collection 2, like that will be there. And each collection, again, there is a documents. Doc 1, or we can say complete name, document 1, and document2 will be there. And these documents are nothing but JSON documents. Basically, you are writing. So that is the reason we are calling this MongoDB as document-oriented database, because we're actually storing the documents here. Okay, we are actually storing the documents here. So this is a JSON document. So there is a server. In the server, I can keep multiple databases, and each database can have the multiple collections, and each collection can have the multiple documents, and each document is having the multiple records, or we can say multiple, I mean, we can say records only, but because this is one document one or multiple documents. So this contains the database, and document one contains the data. Okay, you can create a number of documents and we can see this information. Okay, and also one more important thing, go back to the, okay, so here in the command prompt shell, we can use this find function. Inside this, you can put the curly braces also, it's fine. If you say that same query only, you can use the empty functions. DB is nothing but its current database. DB is always stands for the current DB. So you are already using the DB name, that is a DS team, and db.skill.find. And if you're using the find means it will get all the information. So basically by default, you are using the curl braces means all the documents. For example, let me connect to the another database in my local. I'm going to use the SCM. I don't know what is there. I want to bring, okay, I want to see the collections here, right? How to see the number of collections, because I don't know what collection is there here, right? There are so many collections are there. I created this one sometime back, but I don't know what is the collections are there. So how to check that? What are the collections? It's a very simple code, show collections. So I'm connecting to the new database, show connections. There is a products. Here collection name is the products. So if I want to get the data, so db dot products and dot, we can use find method and we can enter here. These are the some products are there, Samsung product, Sony product, Dell product, okay, something delivery status, and all this information is there. For example, if I'm going to use this same code with the curl braces inside, enter, you will get what? Same data only, Samsung, Sony, Dell only, right? So that is, you are passing the empty dictionary here to get the complete. So both the queries are same only. Okay, and also if you want to see the data here, if you can go to the I don't know, it is SCM, right? SCM, the products, and you can see the same information even in the compass. Okay, so any questions here before, because I'm continuing this one. Instead of this, let me answer your questions. Do you have any questions, guys? Anybody have any questions? Is it understandable, or like do you think like there is any difficulty?
No, it's understandable.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Good question. Whether the nested document will be applicable? Absolutely. We can write a document inside the document also. You can write document inside the document. So the most thing you should remember immediately in your mind, this text, guys. This is important. Today's session, whatever you remember or not remember, just leave it. But this is important. There is a server inside that there is a multiple DBs, and each DB there is a collections, and each collection is at the end. We are talking about the documents. If you go to the SQL databases, at the end we talk about the tables. In similar fashion, in the NoSQL databases, at the end we talk about the documents. So that's hence we are calling it as a document-oriented databases. Okay, so this is about this, and we can also use the document inside the document also. That could be possible that we can use it. We can use it here. Okay. So right now the question comes. Let's go back to this. Okay, Rajat, you are not created the skill. Okay, now I will switch to the. Let me show you something here. I'm going to switch back. Use, and there is something called DS team. I'll enter the DS team. I'm into the DS team. I will use the show collections here and enter, and you will see the skill. But I've not created the collection separately. I created this collection with the document itself. So if you can go back to Yeah, you can see the one which I'm highlighting here. Directly, I created a document, but skill is not there. But I created it because automatically it will be created. But specifically, if you want to create a collection, okay, we have command called db dot create collections. For example, db dot create, and we can use the command name called collection, something like this. But people used to do mistakes at the time of learning. This collection we are have to use C is uppercase letters. This is something we can give. Okay, we can give some name of the collections here. So we can collection name is what, guys? What collection name we can give? Anything we can give. Say that apple. I don't know, some name came in mind. Just enter this. It's saying that apple collection is created. If you want to see the collections, you can enter here, show collections, and you can see apple and skill. So you can enter the n number of documents here. This will come and can show you. But question comes, by default, I updated this some document. I need to update the information also. But how we can do? How to update a document is the question, right? So we can easily update the document, guys, by using the update function. And that also we can do it. So db dot some collection name dot update, and we can update that one as well. Okay, so let me write inserting the multiple documents, then we can also try that one. So instead of writing this whole thing here, because we are most talking about Python programming, so instead of using this command prompt and the compass, so if you think like, okay, Raja, these are all like a little so much complicated. Can I go and create it here? Yes, you can go to the DS team and go to the here. Okay, you need to refresh it. You have to refresh it and see the updated collections here. There is an Apple. I will go to this, and there is no data here. Okay, we need to add data. So insert the document. If you have the file, you can insert, and also you can see this. There is the two ways. Okay, we can also use it in the multiple ways. If you are going to create it here, insert. For example, if I say insert, just only document is created. But if you want to update it, okay, copy the document, update the document. This is edit document. We can update it. So by using the interface is easy. Okay, and also there is something called aggregation, schema, explain plane, indexes, validation. This is the advanced concepts we can discuss maybe in tomorrow, because if I tell you everything in one day, you may not get the information by just in one session. But so this is just basic idea I'm giving it to you guys. You can see here, I don't know whether you observe it or not. It's saying that, okay, the host is the local host 27017. The cluster is the standalone cluster, but means only one cluster here. And the edition is community edition, and all this, there is a 19 dbs and collection 13 collections are there. Okay, fine. Let's go back to the documentation. So here, I want to download the MongoDB. So what are the MongoDB? The Python, I'm going to type here, Python MongoDB, uh, what I can say that tools, not the tools, we can say it is a driver. I'm going to enter here. So if you go to the direct, I'm going to direct website of MongoDB itself. So for every language, they have mentioned the drivers. Let's go and look into the C driver. So they have mentioned some C drivers here to connect with the Atlas. What is the compatibility is there? All this information is there. So even Ruby drivers, Python drivers, Scala drivers, Java. So mostly people use the Java combination. So we also having the Java MongoDB driver. So we can also download it here, all the steps, which is the compatible, which Java version is compatible, which Java driver version is compatible, 8. So now people are using the 11. That information is also there. Let's focus on Python now. So Python is the MongoDB saying that a recommended way to work with the MongoDB from Python is PyMongo. And the motor is the recommended MongoDB Python asynchronous driver. These are the two drivers. Okay. I'm going to click this PyMongo, and it will show you that how to install this one. It is very easy to install PyMongo. If you are very specific to that one, we can install it. And you can also go and click on this installation. So it will directly take you to Python PyMongo documentation from their website to this PyMongo documentation. It's a very easy, guys. We can easily install it and do it. So that's simple. I will show you one programming here. Let me go and create new window and how to do it basically. So yeah, it's a very simple code. It won't take much time. So open folder, and I'm going to create Python and MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB. Just enter, create a new folder in your local. Okay, so I'm creating the new window. Just close this, and we can create here. And I'm saying that Python Mongo dot py. You can write any name. I'm just writing this name. So Python Mongo dot py. Okay. First, I need to install the. It is a third-party library, or we can say driver. So let me install it. So I'm just deactivating my Anaconda environment. Spelling is wrong. Deactivate. I'm very bit bad. Okay, so I'm just deactivated the environment here. So I'm going to install now, okay, pip. So I have the two versions of the Python in my local. So that's why reason I'm going with the pip3 install and the pymongo. So pymongo. If you are a little doubt on this, you can go to their documentation and you get this one, pip install pymongo. Okay, so I'm going to this and enter pymongo. Okay, so previously I installed this PyMongo into the virtual environment. Now I directly install it into my computer itself. So it is installed. There is no any third-party tools is recommended to do download here. Directly it is installed. Now I'm done with this. You can use Control K, and let's write the programming. Okay. So to begin with this PyMongo, maybe you think how to start with this one, how it will be. It's very simple, guys. I don't know whether they are mentioning the tutorials. Okay, I think there is documentation I want to show. No, right? Okay, no problem. Okay, I think here there is any steps here. Okay, I think there is a documentation I will share with you. And here I'm going to write a simple code. You can easily understand how to create a document, how to create a collection, all these things. A very short way we can finish it out. So we can use from and pymongo. So this is the pymongo and import, and we can give the class name is called mongo client. Okay, so from this it's same code, same the what we are done with the Postgres, similar kind of thing. So now I'm going to use the, I want to create a connection or a client. We can say that client is equal to and mongo client, which we imported just a few minutes back. Okay, so mongo client dot, or like you can also use this mongo client function if you want to see whether the connection is established or not. So we can use the print of client. If you think instead of client, if you want to give the connection name, you can give. Okay, it will make easy for you. Okay, so it make something easy. And I'm going to execute this code. And do you see that connection is true? So this is correct. And in worst case scenarios, if you are using a different port number, that name, if you can also write the same code in different way. So connection one equal to and Mongo client, and inside that you can also pass the which server you are using. Is it the local host? We can mention the local host, comma, and we can use the port number is 27017, the one which you're seeing at the bottom, right? 27017. Okay, and if you see, when we can go with this line number 5, when you are using a different port number or different server, okay, that time only required. Otherwise, by default, it will take the local host, and 27017 is the port number. Now I'm going to print this. Now this is another way of establishing the connection between your Python programming and MongoDB. I'm executing. I'm executing this. What is this, guys? Okay, I don't know why previously. So Mongo client, there is a two connections are established here. So So both the codes are same only. Either we can go with the this code or we can go with the this code. Both the codes are the same only, but don't so if you're seeing any documentations or any code you are seeing, don't think like that. But if you're changing this local host or changing the port number, then you can use this. Okay, so once connection is established, we need to connect to the database, right? Okay, so I'm going to connect to the database now. So we can say that database equal to, and we are going to use, I'm going to use the first connection only, connection dot, and which database we are going to use. The database name is, I created what here, DS team, right? Okay, so DS team. This DS team, I am just writing it directly. Okay, so if you want to print this information, we can go and use. It's very simple to use this coding here, MongoDB. So you can just print here, and it's printing the correct. But connection is true, everything is true. What if I'm giving the wrong name here? Okay, I'm going to give the wrong name. DS team I will not give. I will give the DS team x2. If I go and execute this code, there is a, do you see something, any differences here? You are not seeing any differences, right? Because by connection, you are creating again database here. So for example, see, instead of writing this, I will say test 345 example. It won't throw an error. Okay, connection dot this to new database, it will create a database automatically. If there is no database, it will create a database. This command is nothing but internally, this command is nothing but use, this is command is nothing but use, what is that, database. So by default, database instance will be created in the server. Okay, so we can say like this. Now I want to connect with the document. I want to insert the document, or I want to show the collection. So how we can write, guys? I want to find the collection dot something like find one. So let's get the collection now. So I'm using the collection object equal to, now this connection, this is the database, right? So first you connected with the server. From the server you establish the database object. From the database we have to go to the get the collection. So database dot, what is the collection name here? Can you please tell me what is the collection name? So I will not use this name, I will use the name called DS. Can you please, DS team, right? So what is the collection we created in the DS team? Anybody remember skill, right?
Skill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can use, see, it's a very like a chain process, guys. I'm going to keep this code into the comment section, then you can ignore it. First we establish the connection, that with the connection we are calling the this DS team, which is nothing but database. With the database we are calling the which one, like this is called collection. Now this collection, from this collection I want to print the records, so documents. It's a very simple, we can use the print statement, and collection dot find, you can see automatically this is showing up here, the find one. Now I'm going to execute this code. We'll see that the data is getting or not. Yeah, we are getting the data from the database. There is something which we inserted some time back, that's called AI programming. That's what we are looking at here, right? No, Raja, I want to insert a document. You can go for this collection dot insert. Okay, so you can insert one record or you can insert multiple records. That can be possible here. But you need to say that the collection dot insert. We can write it separately, or like we can go with the many also. So I will go with the many instead of using one by one. So insert many. So what we can do right here, I need to insert the multiple records. So I'll create a list, Python list first. That list I will pass it to this insert many. So to create, for example, multiple skills I'm creating here, and what I can say that skill underscore many, and this is the Python list. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to create multiple list. Okay, in the sense, in the list, and each document is always represents by using the dictionary. So I'm just going to say that name. Okay, and the name is what skill here, I will say this is NumPy. I'm just giving some scales, and we can also give different. Okay, say that this is like we have to separate it by each item is separated by the comma, and here NumPy it is a SciPy. See here I'm writing only one data only, one row. Like if you want to write multiple rows, you can write it, but I'm not giving that much information at this moment. But we can write it. Okay, so documents we can write it. Now again, I am writing one more name, and this I'm just keeping it into this name colon, and we can say it is pandas, something like these are the skills. Now I'm closing this one with the square bracket. I inserted the three documents, JSON documents, and I'm done with this. Now what we can do with this, guys? Can I use the skills menu as object? Okay, already I'm using the square bracket at below. I'm going to remove it. So I will pass this here because to insert the data. Am I correct? This is how we can use it directly. So what if I'm going to use, if I'm going to run this code, so I'm going to execute this code. So this is done. I want to see those records. So for time being, I will put this one into the comment section. I want to get all the collections. Okay? In the sense, so I'm going to use again this statement. So let's go and use this one, collection dot find one. If I go and execute this code, do you see any differences, guys? Only AI programming is there. But how to get this information? Find one again. Only one is coming up. Can you please tell me how to get all the data? Hmm? So shall I use this one and go and execute this? Still, I am seeing the same thing. But in this case, you need to get each document. For that, we need to use the for loop again. So for doc, each doc in, and all these docs are there in the collection dot find. Okay. So I'm going to use this collection dot find, and this is the find method. You can close and put the colon, and you can print each doc. Sorry, print each document. Okay, print of doc. Okay, so I'm going to print this. See all the information which got printed. But you can ask me the question why AI programming is inserted multiple times. Maybe somewhere we are inserting, or like previously we are inserted into the here. So to get all the documents to the Python programming, first you get the find one or find method. This find method will the collection dot find, and this document will be, we are iterating to this list basically. We are getting all the documents here. And this ID is nothing but a primary key, we can say. I mean, in similar in SQL, we have the primary key. This ID will be this because documents are scattered, right? It is not placed in the sequential order. It is not placed in no order here. It will just like in yes, these documents are scattered into the just a plain database. Okay, so that's where these documents is there. You can create. So, for example, if I'm going to add here something like this name, saying here saying that years and colon, I'm saying that 6. So, okay, only one document. I'm just trying to do it here. Instead of saying that skills many, one or two, we can change it here. And here I'm going to insert this because this is commented. I'll use this one as a 2. Now you go and insert these queries, and you can see the ERC6 is which I added. So NumPy is as is there, but I added the ERCS6. I added some data, but it is got appended here basically. Okay, so it is got appended, and so previous 3 records are as is. It is there NumPy, SciPy, Pandas. Again, I inserted the same data because I'm actually doing the duplicate here. I can do it basically, but the duplication is the only way we can say that the ID is different for each document. Okay, that's how we can create it, guys. Okay, so you can practice this one. Tomorrow what I will do, right, I will go with the very advanced MongoDB. So I think it's a fair enough for you today, and we can continue this MongoDB with advanced level, and with half an hour, 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Then after that we'll move on to the Cassandra. Okay. So
Uh,
yeah, we can also use the find all function. Yeah, right. We can also use the find all. Right, 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 right. We can use the find all also. Yeah, yeah, that's right. But there's something is okay. I think the find is also. I still remember find all is actually capturing the same elements. We need to use the top function again. So in the sense, iteration is required at any cost. Iteration is important. So this is about some idea about MongoDB, how to use, how we can install it, how we can connect with and all. But tomorrow session, I will go with the very high advanced and actually in the real-time projects how we use. We'll get some idea. So hopefully this is you got some information, guys. I feel. And do